Governor, yesterday Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence, said that Iowa has been a success story. Do you agree with that? And if so, what are you basing that on? And do you believe that we've gotten over the peak?
Well, so I do think we're shifting in the way that we're talking about the virus and how we maintain it. So originally, as we talked about, our goal was to stabilize, to really make sure that we were flattening the curve, that we were slowing the spread, that we weren't overwhelming our healthcare resources. And as I said in my remarks, through the RMCC and what we've been able to do, and because Iowans really adhered to what we asked them to do with the targeted mitigation efforts, we now know the amount of ICU beds that we have available, the number of vents that we have available, the surge plans that hospitals have put in place to be prepared for an outbreak if that should happen. So I think one of the things that they talked about that we have done kind of uniquely in the state of Iowa is our aggressive testing capacity, especially with our role in manufacturing and our long-term care facilities. So by being able to provide increased testing capacities to our processing plants, both diagnostic PCR and serology testing, we are able to identify quickly the number of positive cases, the number of negative cases, isolate the individuals that are positive, get them on a path to recovery, separate the lines so we're not mixing positive individuals and those that have tested negative, as well as providing appropriate PPE, doing measures inside of the plant to continue to protect this essential workforce, and really start to understand the scope of the virus and continue to not only protect the employees, but to keep our processing plants up and moving, our manufacturing plants up and moving, to do everything we can to protect our most vulnerable in our long-term care facilities, and again, really start to mitigate some of the impact from the virus. So from that perspective, yeah, I think we're an example that other states can follow, and because of the data and the robust case investigation and tracing, that also provides us the data on how and where we need to really target our approach to get in front of some spike or some additional virus activity that we're seeing in counties, in communities, and what that may look like and how we can be proactive in addressing that.
I think reviews of data of multiple states that we've seen on NPR and some other national publications have shown that Iowa doesn't necessarily stand out in its test capacity. Test Iowa hasn't ramped up yet, and Iowa is one of the states where the virus is spreading the fastest, including some of the communities like Sioux City that have had explosive growth in cases. So how do you...
Well, just as Dr. Birx indicated with us as well, Iowans can be proud of what we're doing. You should be proud of what we're doing. We are leading, and we're leading by example, and we're going to continue to lead. We've ramped up our testing. We've increased it by 800% since March. We are in a pandemic. We have a rapidly changing environment, and we are reacting and being proactive at the same time. When we had a chance to talk to them about how we're aggressively utilizing testing and contact tracing and working in partnership with our manufacturing facilities, they didn't understand that we were going to the hot spot and we were testing. So of course our positive cases are going to increase, and of course we're going to continue to see that. But we're also, like we did with some of the plants, we're going to identify, we're going to separate, we're going to mitigate the exposure, and we're going to be able to get them back up and increasing their capacity at these plants so that our farmers who are producing meat supply for the country and for the world can continue to do what they do and play a critical role in feeding the world. And so this is a finely oiled machine, and we have to make sure that all aspects of it are working appropriately. And so we've got farmers that are raising hogs and cattle and producing, and we got processing plants that need to be able to process. And so we need to do it responsibly and safely, and we are doing that. And so evidently, they do think that we're doing a good job. That was the comment that he made. And as I said, I thought Dr. Pedati did an excellent job of talking about virus activity and how we're managing it, what we're seeing from the data, and how we're really utilizing that to be proactive in our response. And evidently she did it well enough that they thought that she should be a part of the coronavirus task force. So I think Iowans should be proud of that. And I know that I certainly am. It's not perfect, but I think we're doing everything we can to really take care of Iowans in a responsible way, but also to get this economy up and going so Iowans can get back to work and we can do everything we can to get our lives somewhat back to normal.